Sport for sure is the only language spoken by all, but beyond all the excitement, the thriller, the joy, and jeering of the crowd, to every winner there should be a loser. But the bigger question is what makes the difference between the winner and the loser. Catch me live on KBN TV, the finest television, on Topstar Channel 102, every Saturday 9 hours to 10 hours, and every Monday 18 hours to 19 hours, as every minute, every second of the sport is given an in-depth understanding of its contribution on Sports On. Because on Sports On we believe stars turn into legends and legends into heroes right before the blow of the first whistle and the sound of the gun. We will take you on a journey beyond the pitch and behind closed doors as we understand the livelihoods of our heroes. Be sure to make a date every Saturday 9 hours to 10 hours and Monday 18 hours to 19 hours on Topstar Channel 102, KBN, the finest television on Sports On. Sports On, powered by Betway. Betway, the right way to bet.
More money by the hour, more muscle with this power.
Zina yanga inengene Pearson Banda. Najaila ku chama fitness ya mene haya ni ubadwana ye. Sima chache gym mweka ni bambili bantu machaya. Asoti ma members bambili bena ngoswali ku banda konchito. Importance ya gym ya tumo ku keeping fit. Na kutangiza community still pilisa audience committed ni feel free kwela chapo. Otherwise zina ya gym weno ni Powerhouse Gym number kutala as early as 2003, yeah, as early as 2003 the page name gym. Gym ipezeka mu Kalingalinga, just near Toto filling station or Kalingalinga main ground or Kalingalinga clinic. The ipezeka gym yato. Okay, uzayamba chena mene Danville for 2 weeks. Zamba na pali semo weight 10 now 20 Zayamba just for 2 weeks. Then the people zainda manje pa bench kanishi manja wakosisa kudai. You can't start from the bench direct because you ukalipo panga manja ukalipo ngala na power match. So my beginners, what I can encourage them is to start with the dumbbell.
More came niggas, so we never did change. Live through the cycle, niggas struggle for the fame. Money came more, so we hustle all the time. More that we get, nigga, more that.
Okay, monga bana kambira indie bench white sebula chest. Okay, white yanenza yambira poi yes chest. As you can see, this is white. Open the chest. Okay, then kuliko close here. Hey, panga manje chest, manje full chest. Close. Okay.
Niggas with the money in the way,
Tiliko na equipment jinango tima itana chin-up. Ndepanga cobra na back. Ndiyo chin-up Yes, well done. Give us. Well done. Come on. Well done. As you can see, I want a cobra. This is what I was talking about. This is a cobra. Yeah.
Part of your face, and every time that I see her, chandelier lights, the prices of the dice. Roll 100 G's, nigga, fuck the same night. Popping Don P, red champagne, Alizé popping, more blowing in the air. Drinking that brown, nigga, holding up time, putting it down, hold my crown, got the game off the ground. That's how we get it. More money on the island, more money by the hour, more muscle with this power. Climbing more fences, higher than a light. More money, so
Okay, then tiliko na equipment inango tima itana ti leg press itandiza kupanga mendo kaufu thigh angasiteko demonstrate member wate. As you can see, mayona kaufu manekwelela thigh hapa. Depends na mawetsi anewa loti. So monga ma beginners wamayamba chepa ma 10 kg same. Then time aliko fast. Jumpisa mu 15 kg. Well done, Vivas. Well done. Nice one. Well done. Well done. Yeah, as you can see, golf. Yeah. Well done, brother man. Well done. Test the camera. Yeah, brother man. Yeah. Are you enjoying? Yeah. Well done.
I'm a push truck, nigga, I'm a drive fan. Motherfucking 8s, nigga, I'm a get 10. I'm a drink everything, I'm a get drunk. Hey, shoes, my shoulder dudes, I'm about to pop the trunk. I'm a beat, back and gator, I'm a beat. From the hat to the shirt to the pants, play I'm a play, I'm a skate,
you know, this advice wafana chira wendo kumwa ba pepa madrags aswe na secular team kuti akazingana na vochita kuti akazingala influence outside tishitalawo aswe na secular team kuti akazingala busy chantifuna nukupeza kuti machitako build ma body builder kwenda pa stage but mwambiri bamabwera wakazi bamuna so chantifuna ukushita present ino gym kuti ende pasogolo kuti tishita reduce alcohol terms of drugs tina passion enda pa stage as a bodybuilder. Each competition is still shorter. Tima enda kushita present ma bodybuilder like Sylvester Mwira and Clement. So this inspire ndio vantu vane vatipanga tione kuti vision ili bwanji na life wafana kwantienda chantifuna each bodybuilder ananga funa kugwera muno mjima afunika discipline. This advice manzi kuma maningi manzi kuti body is the growth and then in a diet. In terms of diet is very expensive for bodybuilding. You need the proper menu like eggs, mackerel is like my vegetables, milk, chicken, less T-bone. So even what bodybuilding is just a lot. Still I can't explain now. But chanchifunika have been dedication, commitment, because you on the sport. You can't even rely on you can even go same time end up training with a trainer. Chantifuna nukupeza kutandiza my youth kwenda up not to influence of alcohol like mama nkalira bantu benangu aswa even alone hapa niko na manzi I can drink water after that I go to work I'm happy.
Part of your face, and every time that I see her, chandelier lights, the prices of the dice. Roll 100 G's, nigga, fuck the same night. Copping Don P, red champagne, Alizé popping, more blowing in the air. Drinking that brown, nigga, holding up time, putting it down, hold my crown. Got the game off the ground, that's how we get it. More money on the island, more money by the hour, more muscle with this power. Climbing more fences, higher than a light, more money so.
Charles, tupempa kuma well wishers. Banga tandize ko monga program yati antiri nayo. Tandiza abantu bambiri mu community. Bari committed, bari about 20 something. Bari committed. Ina ngoma mapwela che kupita na road ya Nyamulako waenda. So tupempa kuma ma well wishers. Ngatipangira ko cheshe otao lwatisakira ko ya ikulu yani tinga standizira kuze no community yakalingalinga ni kulu maningi. So it's not only kalingalinga. Kuli ma students wa mabwela Unilas, University of Zambia, Kleso ne bambiri. So tetupempa kuma wewe shazi banga tandize ko ngonga ma equipment shelter oloho chapi. Everything pempe ko chapi.
Say popping, more blowing in the air, drinking that brown nigga, holding up time, putting it down, hold my crown, got the game off the ground. That's how we get it. More money on the island, more money by the hour, more muscle with this power.
Anutapatana buyani sababu kwa kono maka Sakulita kutayana kono maka Chichi twala lwila Ngokuipatula Kutika munina twala ona ule chalo Kodizo zanda na za choka kuti Tenze kukonda na chikondi chilikuti. This is not the Zambia we know, yeah. We can do better, you know, yeah. Mitundu zosiana kunkala pamosi, that's what makes us special, yeah. Bambuye bagani bakunda Asobena ni bagoba Bambuye benda ni batumbuka Abamu imbalenge Maniga dili na kanda ifipa Dine blulu wako Musani teme byala Nabapata musani futi sila bana Anutapata na buyani sawa muko wako no maka Sakulita kutayana kono maka Chichi twala lwila Ngokuipatula Kutika munina twala ona ule chalo Land of our forefathers, land of our children.
Sport for sure is the only language spoken by all, but beyond all the excitement, the thriller, the joy, and jeering of the crowd, to every winner there should be a loser. But the bigger question is, what makes the difference between the winner and the loser? Catch me live on KBN TV, the finest television, on Topstar Channel 102, every Saturday 9 hours to 10 hours, and every Monday 18 hours to 19 hours, as every minute, every second of the sport is given an in-depth understanding of its contribution on Sports On. Because on Sports On we believe stars turn into legends and legends into heroes right before the blow of the first whistle and the sound of the gun. We will take you on a journey beyond the pitch and behind closed doors as we understand the livelihoods of our heroes. Be sure to make a date every Saturday 9 hours to 10 hours and Monday 18 hours to 19 hours on Topstar Channel 102, KBN, the finest television on Sports On. Sports On, powered by Betway. Betway, the right way to bet. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me, Gavin Dagalimina, on the finest television. This is KBN. We're on Topstar Channel 102. Or you can follow live our proceedings on our actually Facebook page, which is KBN TV. Or on our YouTube channel, which is KBN. Thank you very much for joining me on Sports Extra. And Monday as it is, you know what happens on a beautiful Monday on the finest television. We look at sports and games that happened over the weekend. Who won? How is the log standing? And what are some of the games you should expect going into the week? And now good things happening around Zambia. You know, the MTN Super League, just quick start over the weekend, Nkana going down, and many other games that you know happened. So we're going to be talking about those games and many other games. We'll have the sports wrap, you know, where we look at what are the performance of our Zambian players who are playing outside there. And to help me discuss many of these games, I'm joined by two gentlemen, sports analysts who are passionate about the game, who love the game, who understand the game, and they're going to help us understand actually how things happened over the weekend and some of the games to look forward to, you know, in the coming actually week. So I'm joined by Brian and Mr. Steve. Gentlemen, welcome to the finest television.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Brian, welcome to the finest television. How are you, bro?
I'm how has been your weekend and how's your mind?
My week is going on well, Brian. And Steve, welcome to KBN South Africa, man.
A million of thanks, Linda. It's always a pleasure to be here. This is my first time to appear here. I'm excited. I'm very happy. Especially that Bola in Zambia is back. Hey, we have a lot to talk about. So much for the invitation here.
And maybe, gentlemen, just to kickstart the program, we'll start with the sports wrap, where we look at actually how Zambian players performed outside, those Zambian players who are playing outside. And we quickly go to South Africa, where, actually Orlando Pirates was playing against Kaizer Chiefs. Orlando Pirates were actually victorious in that game in the Soweto Derby, beating Kaizer Chiefs 3-0. Unfortunately, both Lazarus, Kambole, who is for Kaizer Chiefs, didn't feature in that game, and also Austin Moore didn't feature actually for Orlando Pirates. What do you think is happening to our Zambian players that are playing in South Africa, and why do you think they're failing actually to be in the starting lineup both for Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs? Because these are not the only two players. Almost everybody who goes to either Kaizer Chiefs or Orlando Pirates, apart from Besuma, at some point and one point just goes mute, and we even forget about them, even to use them in the national team. Team. Let's start with you, Brian. Why do you think Zambian players are getting it wrong in South Africa?
When is this? I don't think Zambian player only getting it wrong. Only those that are playing from South Africa. I think it's a cancer that is slowly, catching up with our beats here in Zambia. We did see what happened actually last season, where James Chamanga, a retired international footballer who was just playing. We just keep it and encouraging the young ones, the scholar of top scorer of season.
Brian, maybe let me just cut your thought short. Let's go for a breather. We'll be back on the other side. Let's just go for a little break. We'll be back on the other side. Sport for Sure is the only language spoken by all, but beyond all the excitement, the thriller, the joy, and jeering of the crowd, to every winner there should be a loser. But the bigger question is, what makes the difference between the winner and the loser? Catch me live on KBN TV, the finest television, on Topstar Channel 102, every Saturday 9 hours to 10 hours, and every Monday 18 hours to 19 hours, as every minute, every second of the sport is given an in-depth understanding of its contribution on Sports On. Because on Sports On, we believe stars turn into legends and legends into heroes right before the blow of the first whistle and the sound of the gun. We will take you on a journey beyond the pitch and behind closed doors as we understand the livelihoods of our heroes. Be sure to make a date every Saturday 9 hours to 10 hours and Monday 18 hours to 19 hours on Topstar Channel 102, KBN, the finest television on Sports On. Sports On, powered by Betway. Betway, the right way to bet. So before we went for a breather, we were looking at what is happening to our Zambian players and why they are failing actually, to perform when they go to South Africa. And I'm joined by actually Steve and Brian. Now maybe let's talk to Steve. Steve, why do you think Zambian players are actually failing to perform in the South African League, where we see Zambian players go 1-2 seasons, they are outclassed? In Zambia they've performed to exception, but the minute they go to South Africa, they are benched. They can't even feature in the games. If they feature, they only come in as substitutes, and it's 1 or 2 games in a season. Where do you think Zambian players are getting it wrong, Steve?
It's all about hard work. I think our Zambian players are too comfortable with what they have. They have no zeal to fight hard and compete in order to do better. For me, we have a very good history in South Africa when it comes to Zambian players. We talk of Mbesuma that you mentioned earlier, talk of Isaac Chansa, Chamanga, Dennis Lotter. Dennis Lotter was once a top scorer in South Africa. The same applied to Mbesuma, even James Chamanga. But the new crop that we have today, trust me, what is letting us down is the behavior, the social behavior when we go to South Africa. I think our players are forgetting the main reason why they go there. They put playing first instead of even playing outside the field first instead of working, because you see, they go there for work. These are some of the players that we really depend on to come back to Zambia and help our national team. We talk of Austin Moore. He's nowhere to be seen. Look at how he performed with Forest Rangers last season. Talk about Augustine Mulenga, even Justin Shonga. These are the players that we really depended on not long ago, but they were nowhere to be seen after going to South Africa. For me, it is the discipline part of it, off the pitch and on the pitch.
Steve, we talked about issues of discipline and where players go to South Africa and they become reluctant, they don't go to hard work. Does it mean our Zambian league and the South African league are different? Does it mean the Zambian players can be reluctant when they're playing in Zambia, but they still manage to perform in Zambia? Why is it that in Zambia they can perform specifically, but in South Africa they can't? Even when you say discipline, is it because in Zambia we are too tolerant when it comes to issues of discipline? Brian?
I don't think so. We've had coaches who've acted so harshly, or very harshly, and so on. These are players. I don't agree with the statement to say, oh, I can't really say it's because here in Zambia, coaches, fans, and everybody, they are tolerant to these players. As a mentality, you see, when you are called, in a foreign land, you actually find players there. You have to compete for a position. It's not an automatic. If you are called, let's say, for instance, Patson Daka, the moment he went to Red Bull Salzburg, he found hand there. But what used to happen is, whenever he's given a chance to start, he's caught. Whenever he's given a chance to come in as a super substitute, even when he played alongside Haaland, he still managed to score in one or two games. So it's about you finding it easy and working hard, as my colleagues did, as put it there. It's just the of working hard.
Brian, thank you very much. Brian, thank you very much. Now, maybe looking at another player that performed over the weekend in South Africa is actually, Lungu. Lungu played actually very well and scored an equalizer in South Africa. Let's just watch a clip where Lungu scored a goal. We'll be back on the other side and talk to Steven what he thinks of Lungu's performance in yesterday's game. So let's watch a video by Lungu. We'll be back.
Of the season, Ponafa. Ile koji, Baba Sirala, iyo, Palilunga. Lele. Etoa. Bonafela. Pona papa la jugo tato. Wafa. Kill. You die.
Sport for Sure is the only language spoken by all, but beyond all the excitement, the thriller, the joy, and jeering of the crowd, to every winner there should be a loser. But the bigger question is, what makes the difference between the winner and the loser? Catch me live on KBN TV, the finest television, on Topstar Channel 102 every Saturday 9 hours to 10 hours, and every Monday 18 hours to 19 hours, as every minute, every second of the sport is given an in-depth understanding of its contribution on Sport On. Because on Sport On we believe stars turn into legends and legends into heroes right before the blow of the first whistle. So that is actually what Lungu did in South Africa, where SuperSport actually was playing yesterday. And they set out for a 1-0 draw in South Africa. Now, Steve, what do you think about Lungu's performance in yesterday's game, as we still look at the sports trap and how Zambian players performed actually outside the country?
Though not quite clear, I'm sure your question is how Gapani Lungu is performed last Saturday weekend. For me, Gapi is a player that is known to this time around. If you watch how he's playing, in most cases he is a guy who's known to score on the last minute. This is not the only game that he did. I'm sure some 3 weeks ago he did the same. I was actually talking to him when he scored some 3 weeks ago in the last minute. He is a player who does not give up. Gapi has been has been in form from the time that he went to SuperSport United. Remember, it's not only Gapi that went to SuperSport United. We saw Bidim Tale moving from Power Dynamos, going to SuperSport United. He only played a single game and is nowhere to be seen. I'm sure as we are speaking right now, he's Prison Leopards right here in Kabwe. Gapi Lungu is a guy who came on board played the game and managed to convince the South Africans to say he is a good player, and there he is scoring goals for SuperSport United.
Okay, now Brian, maybe elsewhere in Africa, where in Tanzania we have and Rally Warrior. Yesterday they outshined, winning 5-0, and actually Triple C was involved in 3 goals. Actually of that game. Do you think he's playing in a simple league? He has to shift, or he has settled there? That's a good club and a good league for Cletus, Chama. Brian. So maybe as Brian is connecting, I reposition the question to Steve. So Steve, we are looking at Triple C in Tanzania, where he's outperformed and he's always performing. Just yesterday he was involved in 3 of actually the 5 goals that his team won. Do you think that's the league that suits him, or he has to shift to go to another league? Or maybe you think he's comfortable and he's settled, that's the right league for him to come even and perform and help Zambia qualify to the Africa Cup of Nations?
Pamba wa Lusaka, that's what it's called. You see, Triple C is playing very well at Simba. For me, there's no need for him to. Yes, we might debate to say he needs some better challenge elsewhere. Maybe the league in Tanzania is too easy. But for me, I think the performance that Triple C is doing at Simba is a plus to us Zambians. It is a plus to the national team. For me, I would rather he stays there and performs very well, because look, Triple C is improving each and every game. He's performing wonders each and every game. The same applies to Kamchacha, Mysterio, Larry. Larry is also doing it in style. When he went there, he was benched for some games, but this time around, Larry is finding game time. It is good for our Zambian players to find game time when they are playing outside. If at all the teams are playing in are giving them game time, we need to allow them to stay a little bit longer so that they improve more, because we need them at national team. If we rush them to take them to different teams, maybe those teams are not going to give them the desired game time. It means our national team is going to be negatively affected. Mwamba wa Lusaka, Triple C, as well as Kamchacha, Mysterio, and Larry Wadia are doing it in style in Simba. Kudos to them. For me, I think they should hold on a little bit longer. Let them continue performing very well, because we need such form back here in Zambia, especially for the national team.
Okay, now Brian, the under 17, our glory boys, under 20, Africa Cup winners, they Enoch Mwepus were also playing actually over the weekend, and talking about 5-0 touchlines. That's what the Red Bull boys did. Enoch Mwepu came in as a substitute in that game. Our Patson Daka is actually still injured. Now, Patson Daka is being rumored to go to Manchester City. The rumors are getting louder and louder by the day. Brian, do you think Manchester City is a good fit for Patson Daka, even as we are waiting to come back from the injury he actually encountered in the UEFA Champions League? Unfortunately, we are able to connect to Brian, so we'll keep talking with Steve. Do you think Manchester City is actually a right team for Patson Daka?
I think so. Look at the coach for Manchester City, Guardiola. Guardiola is talking about Patson Daka replacing Aguero. If you look at the kind of play that Aguero does compared to Patson Daka, I think there are a lot of similarities. Patson Daka is tough, fast, and very clinical in front of the goal. For me, yes, I think Guardiola is very right. If Patson Daka can play with very intelligent players in the midfield, like the ones that we see at Man City, trust me, Patson Daka can score even more than 20, 30 goals in the Premier League. What we need is just to give the boy that confidence. I think the boy is very mature this time around. Let us not wait too long. Remember, football is a very short career. The more we wait, the more he's growing old. And by the time we will have him to move, you'll have gone over the edge, or maybe you'll have actually bypassed his peak. For me, I think let us give Patson Daka a chance to play for a bigger team. He scored 2 goals against Liverpool. Come on, Liverpool are the EPL champions. They are also the defending champions of UEFA Champions League. And Patson Daka managed to score 2 goals. That sends a lot of message. That sends a huge message, and I think that shows that Patson Daka is ready for any challenge for any other team right there in Europe.
And maybe still looking at issues of Patson Daka, there has been a headline that has been going around today that actually our Zambian coach is quite comfortable with the same Zambian strikers that we have. And he's saying even if though Patson Daka won't be fit enough to play the Africa Cup of Nations, he's comfortable that the strikers we have can deliver the much needed goals for Zambia to qualify to the Africa Cup of Nations. Do you think Zambia highly relies on Patson Daka for those goals for us to qualify to the Africa Cup of Nations? Or for maybe as well you fall in the shoes of our coach that we can do it even without the big man from actually Red Bull? Steve, do you think Zambians
I think for me...
Do you think Zambians can... Yes, Steve?
All right. I think for me, Patson Daka, yes, Patson Daka, for me, in my opinion is that we do not have that striker that can take us to the promised land. The strikers that we have now, really, there's no one who is that convincing. For me, we really needed Patson Daka in these two games, in Botswana, home and away. If we were to qualify to Africa Cup, I know we have slim chances to qualify to Africa Cup, but really, we needed the influence of Patson Daka. If we were to talk about the strikers that can come and do the job, which strikers, honestly, which strikers do we have that can come to the party and score 2-3 goals in a game? I'm not seeing any. I do not agree with Mitchell this time around. I'm not disrespecting other strikers, but I think we really needed Patson Daka to score goals. I'm not a striker that can come on party and score the goals that we really need against Botswana in 2 different games.
Okay, thank you very much, Steve. That was our sports wrap for the weekend. We are looking at Zambian players' performance in those players that are playing away from Zambia. Now let's go for a break. We'll be back on the other side as we look at the weekend games and how the MTN Super League fared in the first week of the 2020-2021 season. Let's go for a breather. We'll be back on the other side. Sound of the gun. We will take you on a journey beyond the pitch and behind closed doors as we understand the livelihoods of our heroes. Be sure to make a date every Saturday 9 hours to 10 hours and Monday 18 hours to 19 hours on Top Star Channel 102, KBN at the finest television on Sports On. Sports On powered by Betway. Betway, the right way to bet. Sport for sure is the only language spoken by all. But beyond all the excitement, the thriller, the joy, and jeering of the crowd, to every winner there should be a loser. But the bigger question is what makes the difference between the winner and the loser? Catch me live on KBN TV, the finest television, on Top Star Channel 1.
Betway's Sport to Score is back and better than ever. Play our weekly soccer predictor where you can win your share of an amazing cash prize each week. Simply choose the first goal scorers in 4 selected matches and submit your selection before the first match kicks off. Entry is free, and if the prize isn't won, it'll roll over to the following week. Bet your way with Betway.
You've done the hard work, the analysis, the selection. It's all going according to plan. Until City miss a sitter and you miss your multi-bet by 1. Miss your multi-bet by 1 and we will return up to 20 times your stake. We've got your back, even when City don't.
Betway's Sport to Score is back and better than ever. Play our weekly soccer predictor where you can win your share of an amazing cash prize each week. Simply choose the first goal scorers in 4 selected matches and submit your selection before...
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us right here on the finest television, KBN TV. And as you all are aware, Betway is actually our proud sponsors of Sports Extra right here on the finest television. And if you want to be on our Betway services, you have to just, get your phone, type, www.betway.co.zm, and you'll be through to our betting services. You have to open an account, you deposit money from your Airtel money, and you bet, and you're going to be making a lot of money. You'll be flying. Like I'm scheduled to fly and go and watch, the CAF games as soon as they start. Or all thanks to Betway. Interesting stuff. Now, ladies and gentlemen, actually, a lot of soccer has been happening over the weekend because, over the weekend, the Aden, first Aden University National Division 1 actually started. Any interesting games that happened there as well. But we'll be looking at now, the Z results that happened, over the weekend. Maybe one of the quickest shockers of the weekend was the game against, Forest Rangers in Nkana. Gentlemen, let's start with Brian. I hope Brian can connect with us right now before I actually, go to Steve. Unfortunately, I've been told Brian is unable to connect, so we'll just discuss with Mr. Steve. Now, Steve, Nkana versus, Forest Rangers, Nkana went down 2-0. Was that your expected result in that game?
I'm not. If you ask me, I will tell you that I'm not surprised with such a result. Because look, even last season, Forest Rangers managed to beat Abaredi Kalampa home and away. So this is not a story that is new in this in the football in Zambia. I think in the recent past, Kalampa has not been doing well against Forest Rangers. For me, it wasn't really a surprise to see them lose to Forest Rangers. This was the first game of the season. There's a lot that we need to do. I think Kalampa is really not very much organized. They're not as organized as we expected them to be. They are the defending champions, remember? And well, they were so pathetic on the pitch. There is no coordination. For me, I think Ghana is the biggest team in this land, and it needs a better coach. Chavinga, for me, is not a coach that Ghana has to rely on, especially that they are going to play CAF games. Chavinga really is not a coach that is going to take Ghana where they want to be. It was because of COVID-19 that they won the COVID-19 that they won the cup. If the games were to continue being played, trust me, Ghana was not going to get that trophy last season. So for me, Ghana, as long as Ghana is going to continue with Chavinga, I'm not seeing them going anywhere. That is my opinion.
And maybe another interesting game was the NAPSA game that was held to a 1-1 draw, where NAPSA had to come back, come from behind, at Woodland Stadium. What do you take of that game? Between NAPSA and Zesco that was played at Woodland Stadium on Sunday.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
So maybe just to give our viewers a quick run of the results. So NAPSA Stars was playing against Zesco, and NAPSA Stars were held to a 1-0 draw. What do you think about that game? Because NAPSA Stars had to come from behind just to get a point at home at Woodland Stadium. How do you think the performance of NAPSA against Zesco fared, knowing that NAPSA is preparing to go and play continental football?
We're talking about the Zesco United versus NAPSA United game.
Yes.
That game really was an interesting game to watch. For me, it is the game of the week. It was quite interesting, and a lot of fans today are blaming FIFA referee Kafuli for adding more time when actually the time had already come to pass. The additional time that Kafuli had put in place was something that fans are not happy with. And well, for me, for having destroyed that game, but I'll have to make mention to say it was under the discretion of the referee to put or to add the time that he felt was necessary. It was actually within his rights to do so. He had the right to add the time that he felt was wasted by NAPSA, especially. By Zesco, especially during the substitution. That game was interesting. Yes, it has raised a lot of dust. Remember, NAPSA is playing the CAF games. For them, it was a very good test. It was a good test. Mavunga scoring that goal in actually 95 minutes. That was awesome. But again, it didn't go well with Zesco, because Zesco were very sure that they had won the game, especially looking at the time that had already.
And so maybe just to give a hint to the viewers, so those are the results of the game in the MTN, FAS Super League 2020-2021 season. So Napsa Stars were held to a 1-0 draw against Desco United. Power Dynamos, were victorious over Young Green Eagles 1-0. Forest Rangers 2-0 against Nkana. That is one of the big games that we had to watch over the weekend. Green Buffaloes FC 0-0 against Red Arrows. Kabwe 0 against Green Eagles. And the Rwanda Radiants 1-0 against Onkwazi Zanaco were too good for Indeni, 2-0. Buildcon, had a draw against Lusaka Dynamos, and we have actually Kitwe United that went down 3-0 against Prison Leopard in the first game of our MTN 2020-2021 Super League. Now maybe another game we can talk about before we look at the fixtures that are coming over the weekend is actually the game between Red Arrows and Green Buffaloes. 0-0 draw. What do you make of this game?
Very interesting game. The game that is sponsored by forces. Red Arrows of ZAF and Green Buffaloes of the Zambia Army. This is a game of the soldiers. Where when elephants are fighting, the grass suffers. This was an interesting game. Really, for me, the result was a well-deserved result. They really needed to draw because both teams displayed very good football and they were equal to the task. I would feel very bad if one of them lost. An all draw game was fair enough for me.
Okay, so maybe, ladies and gentlemen, those are the results for the weekend. But those are the results for the weekend that are coming on Wednesday, 4th of November, 2020. Now, just to say this, the MTN league for this season seems to be packed. Why do you think is that? Already we're having midweek games just from the start of the league. Is it because we delayed to start? Why do you think there's this packaging of games so squeezed together?
Very bad, and we do not know what tomorrow brings. So if we delay the games, maybe the COVID-19 is going to come and hit us so hard, and we'll have only shoot ourselves in our legs because we'll have delayed certain games. It is actually a plus for fans to play these games, even in big number as quickly as possible. Kudos to them. We really needed the games to be played on Wednesday. I think this is going to help us because really we are behind the time. Remember, the CAF games are not yet in, and we need to finish the league so that we start the new season at a good note. We have really much delayed to start the league. So I think we really have to compact these games. We need to play a lot of games in a very short period of time. Kudos to FAS. Wednesday we are going to witness all the games being played. I'm sure it's going to be on SuperSport. But really, it's very good for us to play these games as many as possible in a very short period of time because we are behind time.
Okay, now looking at the games that are going to take place on Wednesday, maybe Prison Leopards will play in Eagles is playing in Buildcom. The first game to be played in Kafue, where Young Green Eagles actually are coming from. What do you think this means to the Kafue residents to actually see a team from Kafue hosting a FAS a FAS game right there in Kafue, one of the central places in the country?
It means so much to the people of Kafue. Kosa Stadium is the venue that we are going to talk about right now. Kafue has produced good players. Talk of Kondwani Mutonga. Talk of Patson Daka himself. Enoch Mwepu. All these played for Kafue Celtic. And really, Kafue has produced a lot of players, but they have not had a chance to watch them when they are playing for the Premier League. This means a lot to the people of Kafue. How I feel bad because maybe the fans are not going to be allowed in the Kosa Stadium. I really wish that fans can look into this issue as quickly as they can. I think that they gave us is too much. Fans really need to see their players playing, in Kosa Stadium. Kafue is going to be on fire. When the game ended. The last game that Young Green Eagles played against Power Dynamos, despite losing, the coach alluded to that it is a slaughterhouse. He actually said it's Atwa, meaning all the teams that are going there should not expect to win. I feel for Buildcon. If really what the coach said is, I really feel for Buildcon. And Abattoir, Kosa Stadium, I feel very good for people in Kafue. I hope they are going to take a chance to watch the game and support their players.
Interesting stuff because the Abattoir name is selling all over the country. Everybody's talking about the Abattoir, the concert stadium in Kafue. I think it's going to be an interesting game indeed. That game maybe to look forward to is our Red Arrows will be playing Kitwe United at Nkoloma Stadium. Our Lusaka Dynamos will be playing, Napsa Stars at Sunset. Local derby, Lusaka Dynamos against Napsa Stars. These are teams that are coming from Lusaka. What is your say over this game between Napsa Stars and Lusaka Dynamos?
Game, if you ask me, a very tricky game. This is going to be an interesting game also. It's a Lusaka derby. These are players that live together, they play together, they very well. If you look at the training grounds, Napsa on the other side, just after the whole thing, so you go into short grounds, is where to find LD training from. So they know each other very well. It is just actually they train away from each other. There are few meters between each other's trenches. So this is going to be a good game. For me, the players that are going to account for them very well are going to
unfortunately, seems network is not siding with us today on the show, but it's good to have such gentlemen that are passionate about the show. So some other game to look forward to apart from the Lusaka Dynamos versus Napsa Stars game that is going to be played at Sunset is Indeni versus Green Buffaloes. Indeni versus Green Buffaloes will be at Indeni Sports Complex in Ndola. The game will be acted on Wednesday, 14th November at 15 hours. And I should say all these games are going to be on the same day on Wednesday at 15 hours. Zesco United is playing Forest Rangers. This is going to be a very interesting game because we all know what they're fighting for. Zesco United versus Forest Rangers. Forest Rangers just humbled in Nkana 2-0. It's like they still have that pain, and they wanted to just show Nkana to say, we feel you were just handed the trophy last season. Let's prove to you guys. Now it's going to be an interesting because these are some of the favorites to win the league. 2020-2021 league. That's Zesco United versus Forest Rangers. An interesting game indeed this game is going to be. Green Eagles will be playing Zanaco. Zanaco will have to travel all the way to Joma in Southern Province Independence Stadium. That's why this game is going to be. A crack of a game always, because we know why this team are always fair in the league. We know what Green Eagles is preparing. They are preparing to go to play continental football. So these are games to them that are preparatory games as they prepare to play continental football. Interesting game is going to be in Joma of Independence Stadium. I wish I can be there. I feel this will be the game of the week on Wednesday. Nkana is playing Lumana Radiants at Nkana Pachilata. So Nkana will be playing Lumana Radiants in Kitwe on Wednesday at 15 hours. Wankwazi will host Kabwe Warriors at Edwin Imboila Stadium right here in Lusaka. Very interesting games, ladies and gentlemen, on Wednesday, actually the 4th of November 2020. This is the MTN FAZ Super League. It just quick-started over this weekend, and already we are seeing changes. We are seeing teams coming in. We are hearing stories of the Abattoir somewhere in Kafue. This is what we love to see about the MTN Super League. This is why we love Bola Yapa Z, because Bola Yapa Z is just literally the best. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we look at other games in Europe as we come to the end of today's segment, because I know we're supposed to have a lot of guests in the show today, but unfortunately, it seems network and internet has not really been our best ally. We're going to work on that as KBN will be better going forward. Now we start with the log standing right now in EPL. So the log standing in EPL is Liverpool is on number 1 actually with 16 points, while we have Tottenham on number 2 with 14 points, Everton number 3 with 13 points, Southampton number 4 with 13 points, Wolverhampton is on number 5, Chelsea number 6, 7 is Aston Villa, 8 is Leicester, 9 is Arsenal, 10 is Manchester City. 10 is Manchester. I know you're asking to say where is Manchester United. Bottom half of the table. Manchester United is bottom half of the table. So we have 10 at who is Manchester City. 11 is Newcastle. Leeds is on position 12. Crystal Palace 13. 14 is West Ham. 15 Manchester United and Brighton 16. 17 is West Bromwich. 18 is Sheffield. 19 is Fulham and 20 is Burnley. Now Manchester is where they are because they lost yesterday against Arsenal. That was a goal to one. Aubameyang had to score in the second half through a penalty that was conceded by Pogba. Now Pogba considered that penalty, and Aubameyang utilized the chance, and that is how actually Arsenal won. The last time they won at Old Trafford was it in 2008? Should be in 2008 or 2012. But back then, it's the first time actually they've won 2016, winning a team away from home. The traditional 6 teams. You know, this is Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham, and Manchester United. It's the first time they've done that. Now, the games that were played over the weekend: Aston Villa 3, Southampton 4, Newcastle United 2, Everton 1. Manchester United 0 against Arsenal, which Arsenal walked that day with 3 points, a goal by Aubameyang. Tottenham Hotspur 2, and 1 was Brighton. And interesting in this game is actually Bale scored, and during the press conference after the post-match press conference, Mourinho praised Bale and said he wouldn't wait to get home to check actually on the page of what Real Madrid had to say. So Mourinho said he wouldn't wait to get home and check on what Real Madrid had to say. Now, the other interesting games maybe to look at is what is happening in Italy. Italian log. In Italy, ladies and gentlemen, Milan is on number 1 because Milan has been winning. They have not actually lost, a game. They've drawn 1, but they're one of the teams in the big 6 European leagues not to lose a game. Italy, Sassuolo is on number 2. Juventus is on number 3. Ronaldo came back from coronavirus, and he became the best player in the world once again, and scoring 2 goals in that game. Very very interesting game to watch, because Ronaldo scored a penalty and another goal. And talking about Milan, Ibrahimovic, he was on point again yesterday. He scored 1 goal and assisted another goal. Interesting stuff from Zlatan Ibrahimovic, because he scored a back heel, and we know what Zlatan always does. He always has something unique to present, and just yesterday he did that. He scored a back heel in that game. Interesting to have watched Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we come to the end of today's segment of Sports Extra. I've been your host. My name is Gavinda Galimina. Be sure to catch us on Saturday 9 hours to 10 hours as we bring to you more games that will be taking place over the weekend and the results of the games that will be taking place during the course of the week. From us at KBN, it's goodbye for now.
Betway's Sport to Score is back and better than ever. Play our weekly soccer predictor where you can win your share of an amazing cash prize each week. Simply choose the first goal scorers in 4 selected matches and submit your selection before the first match kicks off. Entry. If the prize isn't won, it'll roll over to the following week. Bet your way with Betway.
You've done the hard work, the analysis, the selection. It's all going according to plan. Until City miss a sitter, and you miss your multi-bet by 1. Miss your multi-bet by 1, and we will return up to 20 times your stake. We've got your back, even when City don't.
Betway's Sport to Score is back and better than ever.